Alrighty, we are live. We're gonna wait for a few more people to join on in while we wait. Yes, Luxo, you have to request to speak. Yeah, it's like raise your hand. Yep, there you go. That's how you do it. And then you just accept and you're on in.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
Yep. Alright.
I'm gonna share this on my channel because why not?
Yeah, go for it.
Time to do a nice little switchy switch.
Ah, yes.
Share.
I'm gonna go from that, the T-Flame main to the T-Flame,
Blader channel, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Banana! Yes! Okay. So we got the main Baytubers in here, alright? The main ones that were going to be a part of this. Banana, there you are.
Hi.
Alright. Hi. We're currently waiting for more people to join on in. Once we get to at least maybe like 5 people outside myself, we'll be ready to start. Okay, there's one more. Hello, Dark. Hello, Ultra.
And
Yep.
he's gone.
God damn it, Ultra. Get back in here. Alright.
Oh wait, I'm stupid. I muted the wrong thing.
Oh.
Okay, there we go.
Who's the MFB fan? I'm surrounded by at least 2 of them. Banana and T-Flame. Luxo and me are Burst fans.
Oh, it's about to get.
And hey, Burst is just the superior generation. What can I say?
Exactly. All right. So, okay. So we can start this one of 2 ways. We can do this of one of 2 ways. So we can put
I
Luxo
already
on.
just heard an absolute false statement being made, and the live stream just started.
Okay. Okay. All right. So we can do some ideas here. All right. All right. Here's the plan. Luxo, would you want to be the burst main, and then the rest of us come at you?
Sure, why not?
Nah. I'll be Metal Fight by myself. Everybody come at me, bro.
Fine, let's do that.
You down for that, Banana?
I guess.
Fair enough. All right.
I'm
So
just Metal Fight by myself. I don't need nobody.
All right. So this is how it's going to work. I'm going. Okay. Boys. All right. This is how it's going to work. Is that I'm going to go ahead and feed the questions to y'all of like which you're gonna state what's for the people coming on in to attack or defend, you know, whichever generation you're a part of. You're gonna go ahead and say, oh, what this is the generation you're a part of, and then say, give your statement. You got 1 minute on the clock to say yours, and then the T-Flame can give his rebuttal for 1 minute. Sound fair?
Sounds fair.
All right. So let me see. I think there's only one way I can do this. All right. Hang on. I'm sorry for the for y'all. And if you guys have something to say, go ahead and raise your hand. For the people in the audience, if you have something to say, raise your hand and you can say your rebuttal against T-Flame. All right.
Then you might get a cookie.
Who wants to go first? And we can extend this like to multiple topics. I can give you, if we get like a bunch more people, then that's when it's gonna be like a minute per topic. But if we get multiple or not that many people, we'll be like, all right, here's 3 topics, 1 minute each for each person. You know, that kind of thing. And it doesn't have to be like 1 minute on the dot. It just kind of keep it to that general zone.
All right.
So, Luxo, you want to go first against Sea-Flame?
I mean, let's have Banana go first.
Okay. Let me disconnect you real quick. All right.
I have no idea what's going on.
So,
But I'll give it a shot.
Banana, you cannot come on to the side of Luxo. You need to rejoin the audience. Hang on. Let me add him and be like, everyone, we are starting. So, rejoin the audience. Audience. There. Oh. Okay. So, there's Luxo. Okay, so Banana, you can't come as an MFB guy. Oh, and we just T-Flame muted. Okay.
Wait, no, I'm here. I'm here.
Okay. Banana, you can't be an MFB guy. So, what generation are you coming at? Because which generation?
I thought I was the MFB guy.
Well, it's MFB. What are you gonna pick? Plastic Gem, Burst. What are you picking? X, Bay Wheels.
Or offending this gen.
You're going to go on the. You're gonna state. Okay. All right. First question: which series has the more intense battles? That is the question.
Okay.
First question.
Now our question is: this going to be the physical tops or the show?
You can make it about anything. You can make it about the anime. You can make it about the physical tops. Whatever you want. You can make it even about the content creators if you wanted to.
Okay. All right. So, I'm gonna start with the show.
You gotta start.
First.
Which one?
I'm gonna start with the series that had the best fights in the show. I'm gonna say Burst.
All right. Go ahead. Explain it. You gotta explain.
All right.
1 minute on the clock for this.
All right. Here we go. So, I'll start with MFB. Too much monologuing. It's like, Madoka, shut up. We don't need it explained like children. But then Burst came around, to where the animation was sick. It actually felt like a sense of tension in most of the battles that weren't just like, burst after burst after burst to, speed things along. It was like all the like cool like flash animations, the like wings that sprout.
Okay.
Very much stylized, unlike MFB and Plastic Gen, where it's like, ooh, spirit animal, come float and fight the other spirit animal instead of actually making the tops fight. So, there's my my reasoning, and it seems like I was on a minute to the dough.
All right. Yeah, it was about a minute. All right, T-Flame, what is your rebuttal for MFB?
Every single burst fight in the anime. Okay, as a Metal Fight fan, obviously people might first say I'm biased, but I watched all of Burst, every single one. Every single Burst fight was almost identical to the T. They launched their Beyblades. If it's Vault, he's gonna do some sort of rush shoot. Each blader had their same gimmick, and the animations were reused in every battle. There was not unique animations in Burst. Almost pretty much every character animation was reused. So Valkyrie, from the end of the series and the beginning of the series, looks damn near identical, right? So in terms of like flashy and everything, Metal Fight had the most unique actual animations. A lot of things in Metal Fight, the anime were not reused. There were some parts you could argue were reused, but largely, for the most part, every single battle had unique animations, which gave each battle its own sense of hype and its own sense of build-up, right? Burst.
Okay.
Burst.
All right,
Oh, wait,
get
is that
ready.
a minute?
30 seconds.
That's a minute?
30 seconds left. I'll
30
give you 30 seconds.
All right, 30 seconds. Metal Fight. No other series had consistent like stakes in the battles. The only season in Burst where the battles were intense was season 3 with Fi, because you had an actual villain. All the other ones were basically tournament after tournament after tournament. It was boring. There was no real tension compared to Metal Fight. When you don't have tension, like Quad Drive, Surge, none of them had tension.
All right, that's time.
Animation.
Wrap up your.
All right, I'm done. That's all I got.
All right. Second thing, I'm gonna give each person 3 topics before we kick them off. Okay. All right. Second one, for Burst, as you seem to be defending here, Banana. Which series portrays the better character development?
Ooh.
Are you gonna defend Burst or attack MFB?
Okay, I don't go on the offensive because I grew up with Metal Fight and I hate attacking it, so I'm gonna keep on defense and say that in terms of side character development, Beyblade Burst God. But if it's main character development, I'm gonna have to say Turbo.
Okay. Is that all you got?
Can I defend my reasons why?
Yeah, go for it. I'll give you
Okay.
30 seconds left.
Evolution. What made it so great is that the background characters had their own, like, somewhat subplots to make them interesting and make you want to root for them. And seeing, like what's his name? The sub who, his father ran the Rios, like, overcome his, like, mental block to become a better blader and put himself, like, put his own desires behind in better service of the team so they can win.
Okay.
But-
Okay.
If going to Turbo, main character development, Aiga, I will admit, he's not the best main character, but you see him, like, start out, like, super strong, super arrogant, very much an airheaded doofus, but then he turned, like, freaking evil.
All right, get ready to cut.
Aw.
You can finish up your sentence when I say get ready to cut, but that's when I'm saying there.
Alright, well, anyways, make a long story short, he turned evil, he lost, realized the error of his ways, made a complete 180 on his, like, his complete character traits, and then once, you know, GT rolls around, he seems like a new character, almost, like, not too full of himself, but yet still energetic and, like, in your face, like, I'm still number 1, but he's not too much like, yeah, I'm better than you, idiot. And that's my reason. So, I'm done now.
All right, T-Flame, what's your rebuttal for this for MFB?
So wait.
I'll give
Before
you.
you start my time, I just want to make sure I get the question. We're talking about character development, right?
Which
we're
series
talking-
portrays the better character development? That is the question.
All right. So this is MFB without a question, because in Beyblade Burst, every single series, every single season only has character development for one character, other than, I'd say, maybe Evolution, where you get Shu and Vault. Everyone else, as the series progress, is side characters. Even some of the coolest characters, Free, Louis, going into later seasons, they are barely there, right? So, I mean, if you're talking about character development, you only focus on Vault, but even then, Vault becomes a side character. So all that development effectively goes out of the window. We don't even know at the end of Burst who's supposed to be the champion, right? Is it Iga? Is it there's no consistency as well, because you see some characters like Louis get folded at the beginning of Beyblade Burst Rise by Iga, who is upstart, right? Where's the development is inconsistent, whereas in Metal Fight, Ryuga was a menace throughout the entire show, right? Kyoya, right? He had to grind to be like Jinga, and we saw his struggle to develop. We had moments and episodes focused on other characters. In season 1 of Metal Fight, the lead up to Battle Bladers, pretty much every character had some form of development, which you do not see that at all in Burst. You don't see that at all. The level
Wrap
of
up your sentence.
development. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Final one here is, in the impact of animation quality, which one was better? MFB or Burst? Banana, defend Burst.
I can't really. I'm gonna be.
So this is like comparing the animation styles and the quality of the battle scenes for MFB and Burst. Which one basically had the better visuals?
Okay, so may I start by complimenting my opponent by saying, if you watch MFB from start to finish, you see the drastic increase in animation quality. So I will give them props for that. However, this is where I start my defense. You drastically see an improvement in animation in the first few episodes of Burst compared to the first few episodes of MFB. The battles, the tops spinning like they're under like a special lighting rig, like what I use when I'm outside, was very much high quality. Some of the animations, while reused sometimes, I will admit, they were top tier. They felt epic. They were high energy, like even like in the first few episodes of Burst, where you get the slow motion burst, it pans around the stadium, you see all the parts flying everywhere. It felt cool when you first watch it. Unlike MFB, where it feels like a higher production of, plastic gen, where it's, spirit animals fighting each other instead of the tops where they just hit a few times, one knocks the other out, and then battle over. Burst felt somewhat original with its battles, and it carried on to X, meaning that Burst did something right.
Okay, Tiefling, rebuttal.
So, the criticism to Metal Fight that it's like basically kaiju battles, compared to Burst being a little bit more realistic when it comes to visuals. The thing about it is with Burst, the only time the battles get intense is towards the end, because generally it's always like you don't see the spirits till the end, and that's when all the stakes are supposed to be. It's supposed to be epic, but you can tell who's gonna win in every Burst battle, right? And Metal Fight, when you see these kaijus battling, you don't always know who's gonna win that fight, bro. Like, there are multiple times where you think, okay, like in season 2, I think is the greatest example of this. You see kaiju battles, right? But like, it's still an element of like there's a lot more to it. It's not just Burst. All right, you see the spirits, they clash. It's not as straightforward and simple as Burst, bro. The animation in Burst is a lot more simple, and because it's a lot more realistic, that loses the spirit. That loses the real spirit. Like, you don't. It's not the tension in Burst animation. The Burst animation does not add nearly as much tension as Metal Fight. And I mean, I guess being more realistic is like, oh, it's more like the toys. But at the same time, the reason why Metal Fight has such a big fan base is because when you watch them battles, bruh, you feel like the visuals really sell it to you, and it allows you when you're playing with Metal Fight Beys to be like, hey, yo, this is like a dragon, bruh. Okay, even though you're not seeing a magical dragon float out of the Beyblade, the fact that you saw it in a show, that just makes the actual. I feel like it sells the toys better than Burst. But anyway,
All right. You ready to wrap up?
Okay, I'm done.
All right. Well, in the scenario of this, did one of you change your minds on who was better?
Frankly, at first I wanted to be the MFB defender, but then once I started thinking about it, the specific questions you asked me made me hold true to what I think. So, as much as I like MFB, I'm not a hater. For these specific questions, I'm sticking with Burst.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Banana. I'm going to disconnect you. You can rejoin into the audience.
Thank you, T-Flame, for being such a good sport.
And we're going to get our next person.
Likewise.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, Gladiator. We're going to get you on up here next since you've had your hand raised for a while. All right, I invited you, Gladiator. If you go ahead, just accept it, please. You'll be good to go. If not, then we'll go to the next person, which will be Luxo.
Hello
All right,
there.
one other
That's good.
quick thing, T-Flame. Could you have your camera on, please?
Alright,
If possible.
let's see.
That'd be great. There we go. Yep, perfect. Perfect. Alright, so,
Open my camera.
Gladiator, are you going to come at what generation outside of MFB are you coming at? Which one are you defending?
Personally, I feel like we can give the most solid arguments for Burst.
For Burst? Okay. Alright. So, keep in mind, you got about a minute of speaking. I'll say if I think it's getting dragged on a little too much, I'll say get ready to wrap it up, and from there. So,
You want to give a second for anything that I previously said to be responded to, maybe? Because I feel like some people had some things that they raised hands about.
nah.
Yeah, sure. Alright, so, in regard to animation quality thing,
You
I
got
do
about a
personally-
minute, I will say that. You got about a minute to say your stuff there. Because I got another 3 set of questions for you.
got it. Alright, I will say, I do agree with you on the animation bit. I do feel like MFB's usage of animation was superior to Burst with this stock image that Burst constantly fell into. However, I don't think it really detracted from the impact of battles, and especially as seen with later seasons of the show, some of the shots that are in Burst just genuinely blow MFBs out of the water. And obviously, this could be a matter of just them having more resources to use. But if you see stuff when the battles really count, like Iga versus Five, the tag team battle between Hyuga, Hikaru, Lin, and Shu. Those battles, they present themselves in such a high quality that I honestly think it just blows MFB out of the water. So personally, I do think that on average, you could argue that MFB has better animation. In terms of peaks, I do think Burst just blows it out of the water.
Okay. Alright, interesting. Anyway, let's go ahead and do our first 3 questions. So, the first question that I'll have for both y'all is, which series is more appealing to the new generation of fans? MFB has that nostalgia factor, while with having that many fans growing on up. While that Burst, I would say, has that that introduction to new fresh concepts that attracts new audiences and new viewers. Glacier, I'll give you about a minute to go ahead and give your thoughts to defend Burst.
Alright, so personally I do think that Burst is more appealing to next gen due to just the overall customization and simplicity. For example, like you've got the system just feels a lot more accessible than the MFB system does, because with MFB there are so many like different parts, so many like different names that you have to memorize. While with Burst, while you could argue it for later generations, at the start, it's basically just only 3 parts: layer, disk, driver. In addition, I feel like Burst's overall customization just has a lot more to offer than MFB's, because you're able to like mix and match the layers, or to differentiate like the different teeth and stuff. You're able to like rotate. You're able to put like different combinations of bays in a similar manner to MFB. But with the more detail the burst bays have, it makes it feel a lot more authentic overall. In addition, I feel like the MFB anime is less accessible to new gen fans due to the extensive lore it has around it, while Burst is a far more simple iteration of Beyblade as a whole, and therefore a lot easier for new gen fans to understand and get into. Not to mention, I personally do believe that Burst's character development is overall better than MFB's, but that is definitely a contentious argument.
All right, Tiefling.
So, in regards to what's appealing to new people, you can have an opinionated belief or statement when it comes to this issue. However, there is a factual answer to this question, and it's MFB. Now, as a content creator, I've tried to do burst content currently. It will not do well. Metal Fight videos do well now compared to burst videos. Burst videos, if your name is not Left Burst, will not do well. And in terms of just being appealing, Metal Fight has seen resurgences throughout the past couple years. Like a few months ago, I think maybe in the beginning of the year, we had that huge Metal Fight focus, like that huge when Beyblade's not that serious thing. There were some clips of Burst, but the main things people who didn't even know about Beyblade were talking about were focusing on Metal Fight, right? So just factually, Metal Fight has been appealing to new audiences. Now, personally, my opinion is that Metal Fight, I mean, I agree with the trend, because, I mean, Burst, the fact that it's separated between Takeratomi and Hasbro, the fact that it's not uniform, and if you're trying to get into it and you're just buying used stuff, you'll have to figure out, oh wait, is this Takeratomi? Oh wait, is this Hasbro? With Metal Fight, regardless of what you buy, it's compatible with everything. Whereas with Burst, all the different systems may not be compatible with each other. Metal Fight, whatever Beyblade you get, parts can interchange, unlike Burst. Okay.
All right. Next question. So in both Burst and X, there are teams that have been generated before. So the question here I have for you is, which series has the best team dynamics? This is comparing the teamwork and the camaraderie that has been seen in the MFB, but also the collective spirit that has been seen among Burst. Boiled Glacier, go ahead.
I do think Burst has the edge in this regard, albeit it is very close. The thing with Burst's team system is that we actually get a chance to see the behind the scenes with them. Like, we get to see how the league functions, how the team actually works, and it makes it feel a lot more personal because it functions a lot more akin to an actual sports team. For example, BC Seoul, there's an entire A team, there's an entire B team. People are constantly fighting in order to get into that A team and have a chance to compete for glory in the stadium. It just makes it feel all the more personal because a lot of people themselves may, like, actually just, like, feel, like, sorry, I'm stumbling over my words. They actually, like, might feel related to it in a sense because that sense of competition, that sense of camaraderie, that sense of sportsmanship, all that is packed within Burst. And I do think that MFB did portray a very good aspect in regard to the teams, but I do think Burst is superior in showing the team aspect, especially with God/Evolution. I do, in all honesty, I do wish Burst did run more with the overall team aspect, especially in later seasons. because it's unfortunately missing from a lot of the seasons. But season 1, God, just absolute peak. And
Is that where we're ending it?
yep, that's where I'm ending it.
All right, T-Flame.
So, as a Metal Fight fan, I will admit, Burst, because it had way more seasons, had a lot more time to develop teams, right? Metal Fight really only had one season focused on teams. There were a couple of tag team tournaments in the first and last season. However, Beyblade Burst had, I believe, you had towards the end of season 1, you had that like team arc. Then like at season 2 was all about teams, and then you had more of like a duos aspect in Super King. So Burst did just have a lot more time to develop it. However, I'd say Metal Fight is still, I would still say superior, just in the fact that, even though like Burst is more developed, just the way Metal Fight did it, the fact that it was countries, right? In Burst, when they had in the second season, Daigo was in France, but that's it. Like, we heard countries, but we didn't see countries, right? It's not like there was a huge emphasis on like a world championship. When Burst did it, when Metal Fight did it, it was a world championship. The team was going to different countries, and you saw the influence. You actually saw, I'd say the difference in the characters globally, rather than just taking like Xander and throwing him in Brazil and saying he's like a Brazil. Like, there was no real like. Sure, there was teams there, but the actual like world championship dynamic, the tension, the sort of grandiose of it all, Metal Fight had it, just because the scale on Metal Fight was crazy. Like, the Burst did not replicate that scale of team dynamic on such a big world stage.
You ready to wrap it up?
All right, I'm done.
All right. Final question for both of you here. T-Flame, I'm keeping you up, still hang on. But for Boiled, between you two, is... let me find it. Each series had, its emotional moments. Which one of these series delivered the more emotional moments, Each one had its emotional highs and lows in both the series, so which one you think hit the fans harder? Glacier?
Personally, I still am going to have to say Burst with this, because just how impactful the bond between the Blader and the Bay is. While the whole Blader spirit is emphasized in MFB, the way that resonance works in Burst, and just the way it feels so personal between the Blader and the Bay, just makes all those just heartbreaking moments even more earth-shattering. Like, for example, when Phoenix destroyed Achilles, and we saw Iga just completely distraught over Achilles' destruction. Okay, that
wild.
That is crazy, man. But I kind of felt bad for the guy. Honestly, it gave me a feeling that MFB couldn't really replicate. Oh, okay, there was one moment from MFB that could replicate, which was Ryuga's sacrifice. But other than that, I feel like Burst is more consistently better with the emotional moments, because it just feels more real rather than in a fantasy setting. Because you can actually...
All right.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question and give him a chance to respond? I just have one question. Can you name one moment other than when Iga Bay got destroyed where you really felt emotion from Burst? Just general question.
Actually, I think I can think of a few. Personally, I'm gonna say definitely Spriggan's destruction during the semifinals of the national championship. Not to mention it was completely unexpected, but you actually felt bad for Shu. Yeah. I'd say also Vault's losing to Louis in the finals of the national championship as well, because not only was it unexpected, but you actually you expected Vault to win. It was a good subversion, and you felt for, and oftentimes I personally felt for him when he lost, because it was complete. It was just like a complete accident, and he had a lot riding. So, and honestly, as someone who did fencing in the past, like I personally related to it a lot because sometimes stuff just happens. So yeah, I will say I do think that the emotional stakes do lessen later on in burst, but the early seasons, like specifically season 1 through season 3, they really hit hard with them, the emotion.
Okay, okay. All right. Anyway, question. That was the rebuttal right there. T-Flame, you want to give your side before you want to say?
So, sure.
Which
Burst
one?
has some emotional moments. Burst has some emotional moments, you know. But with Metal Fight, they're on a different level because Metal Fight has some things that are significantly darker than they are in Burst. First of all, Jenga's dad, we thought was dead. Like, Jenga's such a cheery character, but then we actually see towards the end, his dad, we thought was dead. Burst never had a like anything on that level. Like, Burst was a lot more cheery and a lot more friendly than Metal Fight. Metal Fight had some dark moments. We had Tsubasa literally have PTSD. And when Ryuga died, that was such a thing. Like, if back in the day when Metal Fight was like the internet, like when the internet was not as developed as it was today, but back in the day, there were videos of Ryuga dying, and everyone was commenting, being just sad. I never saw like anything like that before, and so Metal Fight had a lot more emotion just because it was able to get darker. You had in season 2, Masamune had to fight in the World Championship because his friend was literally gonna die. Like, they literally said the word die in Beyblade Metal Fight, which
I'll
just
give you
gives
that.
it.
I will give you that. That's definitely.
You're
Yeah,
giving him.
yeah.
You're giving him the point there.
I mean,
Yeah, I'm giving him the point here.
Yeah.
Alright.
That's definitely valid. Yeah.
So out of these 3 questions, do you think Boiled, are you switching sides now, or are you saying Burst?
I'll give him question 1 and 3, but I do still think that I stay true to like the whole team thing.
Okay. What about you, T-Flame?
I mean, the team aspect, I feel like the scale on Metal Fight was better. But there was a lot more in Burst. So I just feel like, I mean, I can only defend Metal Fight to a point. Like, there was a lot more team dynamic in Beyblade Burst. Like, you literally had gimmicks dedicated to, like, teamwork and stuff like that. Whereas in Metal Fight, it really wasn't, like, the team aspects in Metal Fight were still mainly individual 1v1s, whereas in Burst you actually had some substantial teamwork, which I will give Burst the credit for that team, the team aspect.
All right. Well, thank you, Glacier. I'm gonna disconnect you real quick, and then you can
Yeah, no
rejoin
problem.
into
Thanks
the
for the debate,
audience.
man.
Of course, this was great. And T-Flame, your final opponent is going to be Luxo.
Oh.
Yeah. Let me find his deal. TR.
Mim said he's not looking at the chat, but if anyone else is
I'm looking at the chat. I'm reading
Nah,
the chat.
listen,
I just
listen,
can't
listen.
say anything.
Listen,
I'm not saying anything.
having my fireside chat right now.
All right. All right, Luxo. You are a big Burst guy, similar to me, you know. So I have saved the best for last, you know, one of the biggest Burst guys in here outside of me, because there's some things I wanted to say, but I'm mediating it. I can't say anything. And T-Flame wanted
both of y'all had some things to say. Y'all could say it.
Hey, I'm mediating. So.
Hey, you can be biased. We've seen biased people in debate settings.
Jesus. Anyway, let's just stop before I get. We don't need to
get canceled.
All right, Luxo, you there?
Uh-oh.
Luxo?
Luxo, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I didn't mean to scare you away. Now, come back.
Luxo.
Come back. You can blame it all on Mim, cause this
He
is
muted.
his stream.
Alright. Who wants to replace Luxo while we wait?
Me and you, buddy.
Me and you?
Talk your stuff, bro. Send your rebuttals, Doc.
Oh, you got saved. You got saved, T-Flame.
I'm here.
Alright,
You
alright.
want to give Luxo a second to rebut anything I have said previously?
Yeah, you got 1 minute, Luxo. 1 minute to rebut, and we started.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
I can hear you perfectly. Crystal clear.
Not go out of Discord intentionally. So, anyway, I want to go over the last quick. So, with the newer viewers, way cheaper to get into burst competitive. A lot cheaper just to get into burst in general, because. What are you giving me that face for, Team Player?
That's cap. That's cap. I know it's cap because I bought used burst and used metal fight. And used metal fight is cheaper.
I don't know about that one.
I don't know about that one though.
Yo, you know what? To
I
each
don't
his
know
own.
about that one.
To
Also,
each
if you're
his
buying
own.
used, you have the risk of running to get mid fakes.
Mid fakes are valid,
Not in France, they're not.
dog.
in tournaments.
Yeah,
Also,
yeah,
it's a
mixed
lot
mixed
easier
fight.
to tell if a burst bay is fake off of a like eBay lot or something than it is if an MFB bay is fake.
Mid fakes are allowed in tournaments, dog.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Anyway,
okay, but you know what?
so-
Alright. You know what?
Alright,
you know
that was
what?
about your
Buying
question
used
right
burst,
there.
buying used burst, and potentially having extreme teeth wear. That's valid. That's valid. That's all I'm gonna say. That's valid.
Alright, moving on to the official 3 questions I got. Moving
Like,
on.
Like,
Go ahead.
Nah.
Go ahead. Say something. Say something. Say something. Go ahead.
You got like 30 seconds, Luxo.
okay. I agree with Crab with like the team dynamics aspect as he was talking about earlier, and also I believe T Flame grade. I would say MFB may be more emotional. Burst was way more personable than MF. Like whenever he had Shu as Red Eye, that big reveal not a lot of people expected, and like that personality just to see Shu, this dude's best friend since forever, just suddenly turned evil, quote unquote, or well, suddenly, quote unquote, and then you just see how they regain their friendship, and over the seasons they. Now they even mentor different bladers. Years.
Naruto and Sasuke from Timu. All right, let's get into the question.
God. Anyway, so clearly, Luxo, you're defending burst. Oh my! I'm gonna need some water after this. Okay. Anyway, maybe something stronger than water. Anyway, okay. So each series has had its own villains. Which series has had the better villains? You know, comparing the antagonists from both series, discussing their motivations, their development, and the impact on the story. Luxo, go first.
Okay. I want to first get the elephant out of the room. Ryoga is a very good villain. He's a guy from a perspective, and he's also a good bad guy. Oh, just a overall entertaining. I will admit he is a very good bad guy. However, here's the thing. I would argue that there have been better villains in Burst, just because of the fact that their redemption arcs, for some of them, were actually a lot better than Ryuga's death scene. And also, on top of that, I would like to argue that some of the villains are pure evil. They just pure evil. Like, what I mean? He never turned into like this big protagonist. He's always kind of been like this antagonistic kind of villain. At least in season 1. You know, he broke Shu's bed. Whatever. Well, technically Wakia, but that doesn't really matter. But, you have that happen. And then over the years, he just gets a lot more, just gets a lot more friendly, and it's more like brother versus brother than mortal enemy versus mortal. And like I was saying, Shu versus happened. I don't really want to restate all that because of time. And for villains that are just pure evil, we have Bai, who we destroy Beys brothers, and that's how we got Death. And just we got to see these evil villains just be evil. there's just a huge Beyblade Jubilee. But there's just a wider range of burst villains that overall are better, like combined, than Ryuga is alone. And that's where like.
All right, T-Flame.
In terms of villains, giving Ryuga his flowers, I appreciate it. But you know what? There have been multiple villains in different arcs of Beyblade. In every single burst season, there was typically one main antagonist. In season 1, you had Louis kind of towards the end. Season 2, you had Red Eye. Season 3, you had Fi. Season 3 you had Fi. Season 4, I didn't watch season 4 because Rise is stupid. Then you had Lane. And then okay.
Rise was one of the best generation. Or man.
Are you getting ready to defend freaking Drum?
Yes.
I will agree with Mim. Burst GT was one of like the best.
Burst GT is on par with Turbo. Rise is on par with Turbo.
No Burst fan is in agreement with you, bro. Who the look? Someone just commented GT is trash. GT is
I will make a whole video expose of why GT was goated. Okay. Anyway, get back into it. I'm sorry I busted on in. I'm sorry I busted in.
Beyblade wise, okay. Physical product wise, sure. Physical product wise, sure. Anime wise,
go back. I'm sorry. Go back. I interjected.
Like the second best burst anime. First best being Burst God and Burst.
Right, we're going off topic. We're going off topic. We're going off topic.
Pause. We gotta. Hey yo, rip the script. Nah. You're getting ready to sit up here and tell me Beyblade Burst GT is better than Beyblade Burst Turbo. You're getting ready.
Yes, I will say that.
Over Chur Z, people are disagreeing.
I will agree it.
Wild. That's a wild take. As a Metal Fight fan, I'm telling you, that's a wild take.
And I'm ready to defend that take. Anyway, go back to the main topic. Go back to the main topic. Okay. Back to Beyblade villains. Which one was the better one?
Okay. As I was saying, you normally have one villain. In Metal Fight, you had multiple villains depending on the season. In Metal Fight Season 1, it was literally all the villains we saw throughout that first season versus the good guys. And not only that, in Season 2 and some other seasons, we see villains face each other. Julian Konzern was a little bit more of a villain in Season 2, and we saw him got absolutely embarrassed by one of the antagonists of Metal Masters, Damien. In Metal Fight, there is more than one antagonist for every season. In Beyblade, in Burst, usually every single season has one clear antagonist if it has an antagonist. Quad Drive didn't really have one other than Pain, but I don't even think you can count him. And then Quad Stripe, you had Pax or whatever his name was. Really, you only there was no consistency of villains. Ryuga, you had an overarching villain across really all three, and he turned more of it into an anti-hero. He had development through all of them, right? So, and just the stakes of each villain was crazy. Every villain had intense battles, and you know what? There was villains with intense battles and burst, sure, but it's only one guy. In Metal Fight, anyone that had the label of a villain. In Season 1, you had Reggie, who also had a dark move, who had some crazy battles. Whereas in pretty much every burst season, other than Turbo with Fi, and then what was Fi's brother? I forget his name.
Hyde.
Yeah, that's the only time you really saw two antagonists, and that it was so centralizing. Villains, Metal Fight has it all the way.
And I make a rebuttal to that real quick.
Go ahead. I give you permission.
You get 30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Okay. GT had 3 villains in it. And Turbo kind of had two, just as Mim said. God had the Snake Pit, which were all villains. You had Boa. You had just what's her
Boa was just an angsty teenager, dog. An angsty little kid.
He's a corrupted angsty teenager. He's corrupted.
bro got a phone.
You're not helping your argument, Luxo. You kind of went offhill there. Not gonna lie.
Okay. Anyway.
No, that's where I'm cutting you off. That's where I'm cutting you off. No, no. All right. Next question is, let's see. Which series had the better teacher-mentor relationships? I mean, both of them had them. You know, both explored the mentor roles in both series and how they kind of shaped not only the side characters, but also the protagonists on their journey. Luxo, go first.
Okay. So I would like to start out by saying, how many people Shu has mentored? You know, we have Fumiya who he mentored. Or while he didn't become like the super big guy, you know, he was still mentored by him. And we have also Lane, I believe, who was mentored by Shu as well. And while in the anime they Lane has like the big villain role. However, like yeah, speak. First you T-Flame. I need some water.
Bro, I'll throw some in my speaker, bro. I'll give you some, bro. Do not deduct the need from water. Do not deduct the need for water from the time.
I'm not.
Exactly. Thank you. I needed that.
Of course.
But yeah, Fubuki though, I believe that was his name. You know, Shu helped mentor him, and also with Lane he helped mentor him. Bolt, I believe, technically, if we technically look at it, a lot of the Burst main characters kind of mentored each other, if that makes sense. Like, you know, Shu had a time where he helped Vault, mentored him and helped him, you know, learn different things. You know, Vault also had moments where he helped Hyuga and Hikaru also, you know, learn and get mentored from him. Like, Bell kind of learned and took aspects from every single person who was, like, the big character from that generation, if you think about it. So, while I would say something like Beyblade Burst Surge didn't have the best anime, I could say that the mentor-student relationship in it was definitely very good. It could have been more explored, but it was a very good concept and it did work.
All right, T-Flame.
So, in Metal Fight, right? The whole first season is basically Jenga being like, I'm better than all of y'all. And everyone's like, damn, I want to be him. And so basically the entire first season is Jenga mentoring people up until around the time he gets clapped by Ryuga. And then, you know, other people start to learn from each other. But even then, throughout the entire first series, even after that, Jenga was teaching people. He's like Goku. He would beat your ass and then smile and be like, but Beys spirit, bro. And you saw everyone kind of be like, this is my Jenga moment, right? So you had that you mainly saw his relationship with Kenta, right? But even then you saw other sorts of like mentoring, like indirectly, right? So you had like Kiyoya mentoring Benkei indirectly, right? But I guess the most typical direct was Jenga with pretty much every single character he came across. In Metal Masters, pretty much every leader of every team was a mentor to everyone else on the team. Pretty much every person that was the top on their team was the mentor to everybody else. You saw this mainly in the China's team. In Metal Fury, the third season, you saw the greatest example of mentoring, which is Kenta literally getting mentored by someone who didn't want to mentor him, but ended up mentoring Kenta in his own way. Kenta had to gain Ryuga's respect, and that was a whole training arc to where you saw Kenta get clapped again and again, but getting back up and getting trained in his own way. And in Burst, you hear mentoring, you hear it, but you don't see it nearly as much as you do in Metal Fight. In Burst, you see Lane appears, and Lane's like, I'm a disciple of Shu. When? Oh, they just say it. And it's not like exactly like the disciple role, the whole grinding aspect, the whole learning aspect. you see that substantially more in Metal Fight than you do in Burst. And Burst, it's just talked about.
All right.
And I make it. Can I make a quick rebuttal to that?
No.
Rebuttal to the rebuttal.
30
No.
seconds.
Aw.
30 seconds. No,
I'll
I'm
bring
giving him
it.
30 seconds.
Because
Go ahead.
I'm
30 seconds.
because I'm gonna say, out of the three, or have we done three before?
No, we've only done 2.
God damn! All right, this is okay. Which one out of obviously both these generations have come to an end. Which one of these had the better and more epic ending? This could be all the way up. It doesn't matter which season. You can pick a certain season and stick to your guns there, or you can talk about multiple. Luxo, go first.
Wait, you mean ending as in like the series ending?
Series ending. You can talk. You could the series ending, season ending, whichever one you want to talk about.
I just got to put the disclaimer out there. Quad Strike is canon. All right, go ahead.
I just want to put out the words of the wise. Yeah, no, Quad Strike is very bad. Watched it, it's garbage, and I will agree with you 100%.
For the sake of the argument,
But,
if we want to act like it doesn't exist, for the sake of the argument, if you want to act like it doesn't exist, I will allow that.
Well, here's the thing. What I'm saying is, like, if you want to focus on, say, like, season 3 of Turbo's ending, you could focus on that. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like you don't have to focus on the exact ending. You could say like MFB's ending, go for season 2 or like season 3. Technically, also, Shogun Steel is canon ending as well for the MFB universe. Yeah, I see that. I see that, T-Flame. That is canon, and you know it. Yeah. If you want to say Quad Strike's canon, you gotta say Shogun Steel's canon. Simple as that. Anyway, go back to it. Luxo.
Okay, besides the fact that we have traumatized T-Flame by making him relive that, I will say that one Beyblade generation now, MFB that ended the best, I would say Beyblade. God. Why? Well, you had the perfect villain arc with Shu being read before, and if you also consider the past season prior, it was all building up to this. Turbo, to me, kind of felt like it was adding on extra, per se. If you're looking just at season 1 and 2 from Burst, that was, a way better ending, and MFB and how, my opinion, change per person what they think, but I believe that the ending of Beyblade Burst God was the best ending of. Go to.
All right, go ahead, T-Flame.
Okay, so I cannot defend Metal Fight's ending. I think it is garbage. Even if we go off of season 3 being the ending, the fact that instead of bringing back a lot of old characters and bringing them in light, you have this whole legendary Bladers thing, but we just throw in a bunch of nobodies that look stupid, and then you got Zero G. Okay, all right. Even though I can't defend Metal Fight's ending, at least Beyblade's Burst ending. I mean, in Evolution, the ending there was tight, but with Beyblade Burst, they did a thing in Surge, which easily could have been the last season, where they brought a lot of characters from the before back. But in Burst, anytime they brought back old characters, they would lose instantly. In Metal Fight, at least a lot of older characters, when they were in battle, they didn't get washed nearly as bad as, like, Free having a whole battle with Bell and then losing. Bell is a child. Bell is annoying. And he could just beat Free? And that, no. Okay, so at least I can say the later seasons of Burst are garbage, but also the ending of Metal Fight is garbage. And the ending of Metal Fight at least had some sort of collective, we are friendship, defeating a villain. It was a lot more climactic, to say the least. Even though
Alright,
I have my qualms with the endings of Metal Fight, both, even Shogun Steel, was more climactic than Beyblade Burst endings.
Alrighty. We've now done 3 of them. Do you guys think you've switched any person's mind? You agreed with the other person's statement? Luxo, T-Flame?
You know what? I'd say the craziest thing is GT over Turbo. I'm still not over that. What is wrong with y'all? I don't understand. Okay, but anyway. Yeah, GT over Josie is wild. See, everybody's agreeing with me. Wait. No. Did I cut out?
No, you're here. I can hear you.
Oh, you're just not saying anything.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm mediating. I don't know why Luxo's not saying anything. It is the internet meant to die.
Luxo understands the error of the statement that was previously made. Exactly. It had no Ragnarok. Wait.
I made a GT Ragnarok! I don't want to hear it.
Bro.
And Shinju was a better Beyblade, and his Armin was a better character than Rantaro any day. We're not going to talk about this. That's just my opinion, okay?
Yo.
Anyway. Yeah, we lost Alexo. Anyway, thank you, T-Flame. You want to do any shout-outs or plug your medias before we end off you and go on to our X stuff?
YouTube.com/TFlameBlader. I do Beyblade videos. Also, code TFlame2K. Check out all the toys. You know, we got them new things up on deck. So code TFlame2K. Support your boy. And yeah, that's about it.
Alright, well, thank you, T-Flame. Alrighty. So, now the plan is pretty simple. T-Flame, I'm going to have to disconnect you, and then you can rejoin into there.
Boy.
Alright, there we go. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and bring in Emblem, okay? Emblem. Where, Emblem, do your deal real quick so I can get you on in here. Emblem is going to be, do the invite to speak, do that real quick again for me. So, I can get you on in. But, we're gonna go ahead and get Emblem on in here to defend Beyblade X. He's gonna go against 3 people. And our 3 people are going to be TR, Unicorno, and I believe Starry was the next person. And if Emblem can't figure it out, we'll just have TR. Emblem. Raise your hand. Raise your hand, Emblem. There you go. There you go. Now, invite. There we go. Emblem.
My bad. Can you hear me?
You're good. Yeah, I can hear you. Are you able to turn on your camera?
Not at the moment, unfortunately.
Ah. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so, TR. TR, if you could redo yours, please, so I can get you invited on in. Emblem, you said you were going to be defending Beyblade X, right?
Yes.
Alright. Alright, TR, find you. Go ahead, unmute TR.
Hello.
Hello. Are you able to have your camera on?
Nope.
Okay, perfect. Alrighty, so.
I have
Get
a
the...
surprise.
Yeah, it works. Which one are you going to be doing?
I'm going for burst.
Okay. So, we're gonna go with a very interesting one. We're gonna start this off pretty interesting, alright? As you know, just re-engagement. You got about 1 minute. We can go a little over, but you got about 1 minute to do your statement. TR, you're going to be going first, and then Emblem, you're going to have about a minute to defend your statement. And then you guys get 3 questions each before we bring in a new person. All right, so starting with our first question. By the way, any questions about how this works? All right, so our first question is, which series has the more engaging battle mechanics? Now, obviously, both Beyblade X and Burst, they both have their own mechanics, not only in the anime, but also in person. So, with X, you have the high-speed battles. With Burst, you got a lot of layer customization. Which system gives more excitement? TR?
I personally have to say, yeah, it would have to be Burst, because in the anime, it actually puts the gimmicks that the Beys have into, you know what I mean, but I think, sorry, I still have to think over this bit. And I agree with you, T-Flame. Most of Burst gimmicks are garbage, but they can be pretty fun to use, like the shot driver. It's just really fun to use.
Okay.
Layer customization. And high-end rogue gimmick is pretty interesting to use, even though it's not really helpful at all. That's really all I have at the moment.
All right. Emblem, your turn.
I
Oh.
give me 1 second. Sorry.
I'm putting the questions I'm going to ask y'all in the chat so you can start planning ahead on what you're going to think about.
Alright, I'm back. Sorry.
All right,
So-
Emblem.
I do have to agree with TR. Burst does have the better, gimmicks and fights. Cause for now, for X, it's too early, and it's really all just the basic rail. And since TT has the Motor Stadium, I'm gonna guess that in season 2 we're also gonna see something similar. But for now, it's a little too early for X to really decide anything.
Well, it's not over gimmicks right now. It's which one has the better battle mechanics.
Yeah, battle mechanics. Yeah.
So...
Yeah, it's really just only the rail right now. Sure, it's fun and all, but it's just the rail. There's nothing too special.
Okay. Alright. Alright, so our next... And that's where you're ending it off at?
Yeah.
Alright, so our next question is... which one of these has the most creative designs, out of Beyblade X and Burst? Where this is not only the aesthetics of both seasons, but also which one has more of a showcase of innovation and eye-catchiness? TR?
I'll have to think over this one just a little bit.
I'll give you about 30 seconds to think about it, and then I'm going to need your
Right.
answer.
Okay, got that.
Do, 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 do. Alright, you got your answer? Ready to go?
Can you type out the question? I kind of forgot it already.
It is... Where is it? It's right over here.
Yeah,
I'll already type it for you. Right there. Which one of these has a better design?
Okay, I definitely have to say what the burst designs are so much better in most of the ways. The stickers are really annoying, but the designs were just really eye-catching and complex, which is what makes them fun to see when they spin.
All right. Is that all for you?
Huh?
All right, Emblem.
Yeah.
Same question.
I'd have to say, in my opinion, Burst is honestly a little. There's a little bit too much. Like the more it goes on, and for X, it's just like the right level of simple and really like eye-catching. Like there isn't a lot of too much design. It's just a bunch of like metal and then like the gear chip, but it's still really detailed like gear chips. They're all really nice to look at. The shapes are a bit simple, but like I said, it's not too much, not too little. Just
Like
the
the
right.
perfect the perfect blend, you would say.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Let's go on to our third question, which is which one of these has, the better special moves? I mean, looking at Beyblade X and Burst, they both had their special moves and their abilities within both series. Which one of these had the more, creative and a more exciting special attacks? Not only in the anime, but also in IRL. TR?
Okay, I just straight up have to say that it would be Burst because of X, it's just extreme dash and yell out random move. With Burst, it's just real unique, like Spriggan's spin stealing and dual spin mechanics. It goes various mode changes. Nightmare Longinus's used disc gimmick, so on and so forth. It's just more interesting than X, which just uses a bunch of extreme dashes all the time.
Alright. TR, what is your rebuttal to this? Or sorry, not TR. Sorry, Emblem. My bad. Yeah, sorry. I was looking at you, I'm like, he's not saying anything.
That is my bad.
No, it's my bad. I meant to say Emblem.
Honestly, I do have to agree with TR. It's really just extreme dash and just yelling out a name of a move. It's just hitting the rail and just hitting your opponent. Just like high, low, whatever.
Okay.
Although some do have a pretty unique way of doing the extreme dash, like I want to say like unicorn, like it just uses like the attack blade, like specifically, not like the others, which is use can use the whole entire blade as same thing. Unicorn is an interesting thing, just but first does honestly it does have the better special moves because it's all very unique. Like you have God Valkyrie's Spring, Phoenix's Dread Cannon, uh, Rush Launch, just a bunch of different stuff that's just very different from others. But
Okay.
X, yeah, it's just the same for X, which sucks. But hopefully we'll see more uniqueness in the future.
Alright. Now that we've gone through these three questions, let's start with TR. Do you think you won the majority, or there's ones that Emblem won?
I'd have to say that I agree with the design part on Emblem's side. The designs for Burst are just really complicated most of the times, and most of the time you don't even really see most of references to the other generations. While X's bays are just really simplistic.
Alright, Emblem, anything for you?
Uh, yeah, I honestly think TR won this debate. He had a lot of really good points, and like I said, X is still really early in the anime, so
It only
Alright.
recently finished season 1.
yeah.
Alright. Well, thank you, TR. I'm going to disconnect you real quick. You can join back into the audience.
Right?
Alright, Unicorn. Get you on in.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Alright, so which one are you going to be defending, Unicorno?
MFB.
Alright. Let me get the questions on up for that.
Alright.
Alrighty.
Thank you, T-Flame.
Alright, in both series, there have been a good amount of diverse character representation. Which one do you think had, the more better representation in general? Here, I'll post the question in the chat so you guys can say. So how are you going to defend MFB?
Alright. I guess MFB more or less because there's a lot of characters that can really be different on what they do. Like, let's say you have Jenga trying to protect everybody and, like, mentor everybody, like Team Flame said, but also you have Ryuga trying to, like, be a loner, like, also, like, with Kiyoya trying to, like, be a loner, but also be with everybody else.
Okay.
Not to drag this onto him.
Alright.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Alright, Emblem.
For representation, so far there hasn't really been too much, because it's all mostly like realistic. Like there isn't too much like drama going on, kind of like someone's trying to like destroy the world or something. It's more realistic. Everyone's like more friendly to each other. There's really like villains or like enemies per se, kind of like in Burst. So yeah, I would say there isn't really much representation in X, unfortunately.
So, I mean, the main overall question that you could answer with is how they, explore the characters and how they contribute to their overall narrative.
Well, I guess like Akasu or Jackson, you see, he's really like into Beyblade. He's so into it that he wants to challenge the X Tower again just to face Chrome. So you got Titus or King Manju, I believe, right? He deems himself like the king of Beyblade, which he has proven quite a bit. But you see, he does unfortunately get dethroned, and he does learn from a mistake, like a true king would do. And I guess you have a Burn or Blaze. He likes helping others, kind of like with Phoenix Feather, helping everyone like experience the true fun of X, letting everyone experience like high speeds.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty much just like really high speed battles that normal amateurs wouldn't really get to do since they don't have the training or strength. So he just decided to give them a little taste of what true blading is like.
Okay. All right. Let's go on to our second question here. Is that it is which series features more engaging side characters? There are obviously the significance of a side character within each story and each anime. But depending on what the side character does is really how they enhance the main story. So which one of these has the more engaging side character? Unicorno?
Are you counting Masamune as a side character or like a secondary character?
I could count him as a side character.
Okay.
It's
So-
it's however you want to put it as, I would say.
Okay, so let's go from first to the third series. Let's say in Fusion, everybody helped Jenga along the way to defeat Ryuga. They were mentored by Jenga, and like it was like friendship took over and let Jenga win. And then in Metal Masters, they had Master Mune, you know, help Jenga out in battle. Not battle Baylors. The tournament. Can't remember the name, but they had him help out in the tournament, and then they had Subasa and help him out too. So they helped, but then they got rid of Kenta and like basically replaced him with Yu, and they got rid of Benkei and placed him with Subasa kind of. And then when Masamune couldn't be able to make it, they had Ryuga be part of the international team, I believe. And then in Fury, you had Yuki kind of being like a side character, but he was also like incorporated into the main plot. He was the reason why everybody kind of like had star fragments in their bay. And then you also had I can't remember the guy's name, the guy from Ryuga's clan. He was helping them find a way to Dynamis, to help so they can help him out, you know. So there was a lot of helping like everybody in the in the series. So I think MFB had like the better like side character plot, I guess.
All right.
That's about it.
All right, Emblem. Okay. What is your rebuttal to this?
I'd say X does have some pretty good side characters. Like the one that mostly comes to mind for me is what's his name? I'm gonna say his Japanese name because I honestly forgot
That's
the
fine.
dub name. But it's like Nekoyama, the one that just rhymes a lot. The his whole building on his whole building like episode was really fun. Having Persona just like do a bunch of riddles. Then at the end, he has a really good battle too. Very interesting. Very good and challenging riddles. I say he's one of the more fun side characters. Uh, let's see who else. I'd say really a lot. There are a lot, so many that I can't really describe them all. But another one that comes to mind, I guess, would be Chopin or Jian Strong. Just like a really small kid, but really strong. She's also one of my favorite side characters. Just look out for. Uh, who else? Who else? Who else? I don't know. It's just it's pretty complicated for me to think about right now because it's a lot of story. So much that my mind just gets all scrambled.
Okay.
Uh, I don't know. It's all just the side characters are really fun just to be with. All the different personalities. Also, Uni. She's a very cheery girl. Uh, hmm.
All right. Moving on to our third question.
Okay.
Out of, stadiums play a pretty big part, not only in the anime, in real life as well. And whichever way you can take this, you can go anime route, you can go IRL route. Which one of these have the more dynamic stadiums, Analyzing not only the design for both the series, but also the how exciting and how the battles, vary between battle arenas of each one. Unicorno?
Okay, well, you can't really say anything much about MFB because there was only really three diverse stadiums in the series, because you had the Cyclone Stadium that that had like was specially made for Herculeo, and then you had the that glass stadium that Jenga and his friend used. I can't remember what the name of it was, but the green one that was made by Meteor, and then you had the dome stadium. I can't remember the name, but everybody was going around, and it was they were diverse, but there wasn't a lot of stadiums like how Burst had them, but they were like diverse into a way where you could make them in real life, but it would be risky. So I can see how X could be like a very real argument against this, because there wasn't a lot of stadiums. But X didn't have a lot of stadiums too, because they just came out with the third one. But yeah, really, there wasn't a lot of diversity in stadiums. They were all kind of like just the same. Like the only difference is that if it was like a stadium that wasn't made by like the WBBA, then it would be only like a knockout stadium. So I guess that's like the only thing I can say about stadiums right now, because in real life Hasbro sucked at making stadiums in MFB. So yeah. See, so I'm done.
All right, Emblem, your turn.
So this is anime and real life, right?
Whichever way you want to take this, but yeah.
Alright. So yeah, from the little bit that I watched MFB, which was really just the first season, MFB is honestly just has really simple designs. X is very fun. The rails, high speed battles, and in real life, like Unicornio said, we only have three stadiums. We have the base one, the 3-person, and the motor stadium. In my opinion, the 3-person stadium is really smart, because you can't self KO as much as you do in the normal stadiums. Because sometimes you can just like self extreme yourself, and you can call like stupid. Also with the motor stadium with the center, it's also pretty easy to self KO. But with the 3-person, the extreme pocket is behind the rail, so you'll kind of just get hit into the wall if you just happen to bounce. So design wise, it's all simple, but it's also very fun just to play around with.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So those have been the 3 questions. Which one? Who do you think had the the leading edge, I should say? Unicorno.
Definitely MFB, the OG, the way better series.
Emblem.
With these certain set of questions, I'd say X would have to take it.
All right. Well, Unicorno, it's been great. I'm gonna disconnect you. You can rejoin if you want into the audience. And Starry, let's get you on up. Starry, you might have to go ahead. Nope, there you are. All right, there you go.
Hi.
Alright. Hello. Alrighty. Which season are you going to go ahead and defend?
Burst.
Burst. Alright. Let me get those questions. Alright. So, let's go ahead and start with our first question. Which is, which, obviously in every single anime, there's going to be, for at least Beyblade, there's going to be some sort of rivalry. We're going to explore the rivalries from both series and their emotional impact of how, iconic and memorable these rivalries were. So, overall, what is the most memorable rivalries? Beyblade X or is it Burst? Alright, starting.
Wait, what?
If you're defending Burst.
Oh, yeah. Burst has the best rivalries, cause, like, there's not much, cause in the anime right now, X doesn't have a lot to defend for this, cause it only has, like, one season right now. And, like, some of the better rivalries are probably, like, Shu and Volt and stuff. Like, Delta and Dante. Wait, hold up, let me read the... So, like, Dante and, like, Delta, their rivalry was, like, Dante just wanted to have, like, fun and stuff, because, like, he runs on, like, 0 brain cells.
Well, we're gonna get DS in here, I guess. DS, raise your hand. All right, there you go, DS. DS, I guess you're gonna be defending Burst.
Okay.
All right. You want to go ahead and take over, for the rivalries?
Okay. In terms of rivalries, I want to give it the Burst mainly because like the dynamic between Vault and Shu so far, like throughout like season 1, 2, like it went from like them being the rivals to like a hero and a villain, like somewhat arc where like Vault is trying to like retain Shu in a way, like he's trying to make Shu come to his senses and like think of Beyblade as fun in a way.
All right. Is that it, or?
I mean, going to like season 3, like with Iger and Phi, like Phi is mainly like just focusing on like destruction of the Beyblade world, but like Iger is like trying to like during the beginning, Phi overcame Iger to the point where like Iger can too resonate with Achilles, and after Achilles destroyed, Iger came to his senses, which made him the villain, and then so on.
Okay. Emblem, your rebuttal.
Yeah, like Starly said, X doesn't really have much rivalry since we're really only ending with the first season. But although it's the only one so far, it was a really good rivalry because we saw how Chrome gets really emotional over X, like leaving the team. He like starts crying and looks like he's gonna go into like a whole villain arc and everything, but like breaking pictures and stuff, getting angry, which shows how passionate he was about X. So, but that in episode like what 51 or 50, whenever they finally battled, you saw they were really enjoying their battles.
Mhm.
So they had a really close rivalry, kind of like Vault and Shu and Burst. But I do have to give this point to Burst because although it was good, there aren't too many.
Yeah.
Okay. On to our second question. Is which series delivers the stronger narrative? You know, comparing the storylines that we're currently on and we had from X and what we gotten throughout, you know, Beyblade Burst. You know, and the themes that we got from both of them. Which one gives, you know, the more engaging and coherent plot line? The better narrative overall. DS?
I want to say X mainly because like it gives like a whole plot line. Like we have Robin, a starter, like he doesn't know much about Beyblade, and he's slowly learning over time. Which near the end of the series, he was close to winning, but did still become stronger. And we have X, who's trying to like reclaim the X and battle Chrome, which was mentioned by Emblem. where they had like whole dynamic between each other. Like Chrome was more emotional toward the battles, and then Multi, who decided to climb the X, similar to Robin in a way, but like more stronger, where she wanted to prove a point to her older sister. But in Burst, like it's more toward like they want to win, or like they have their own like reasons to win. Like Vault, he wanted to become stronger over time. Iger, he wanted to be champion based on Vault. Dante, I don't really know. I watched Rise, but like it was a while ago.
You're supposed to be defending Burst, man.
I know.
How is this?
Do everything in the time. But I will give the edge to X.
All right. Emblem, anything to, I guess, add on to that?
Yeah, I do agree with DX because it gives like the whole storyline at the start of the anime. Like Bird wants to get stronger, Multi also wants to get stronger of like how she currently is. She also wants to like increase her fan base too. And then X, he beat the X already, so but he feels something's missing, so he just decides to do it again, climb the X again, battle Chrome, fulfill his wish. And yeah, like Burst, it's really
Yeah, like it's more like they
like
want to
you
become
also
stronger.
yeah you also know like there's gonna be like a storyline, like you know what storyline is gonna be from the beginning.
Yep.
But X has a better storyline because there isn't as much like what's it called, like plot armor.
Yeah.
Like Bird here is is supposedly like the main character, and then you got X over here just winning every single battle.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like Ball, Iga, Drum, you got Bell, you got all of them just with plot armor winning every battle. So it's not really interesting, like because you know what the outcome would most likely be. And then in X, Bird, you want to see him win, so every battle is highly anticipated for him. Although you know he's most likely going to lose, you still don't know. He could still win a fight because he's been getting very close. Like the more he goes on during the anime, it gets stronger and stronger, slowly but surely, getting close wins. Like say a little bit of spoiler alert. With what's her name? The AI.
Ichigo.
Yeah, Ichigo. We saw him
you're
battle against her. Yeah, it looked like he got like a ring out or extreme, but unfortunately, he stopped spinning first before Ichigo's Bay hit the ground. So we were all very hyped for that. But once we saw he lost, then it was a false hope. But it was still a sign that he's growing as a blader.
All right. Moving on to our third question.
Yeah, that's all.
Okay.
So our third question is, which series has the better soundtrack? You know, this could be the main theme. This could just be the music behind the battles, or just in between moments. You know, comparing how it enhances the viewing experience. You know, it delivers more to that memorable music and memorable moments.
Mm-hmm.
DS, what do you got to say about Burst?
I'm gonna give it to Burst mainly because X, even though it has really good music, like depending on the like situation, Burst does have like more impactful music. Like during like season 1 and 2, where like Vault is like on the brink of losing battle, like you hear the soundtrack like in the background, like between him and Valtryek, with like you know like the music and it's iconic, and you know how like the battle's gonna end. Either it's gonna be either like a win or a loss, depending on like how it sounds. Like the more upbeat or lower beat, depending on it. And like with like certain villains, like their soundtracks seem like instinctive and like how they act. Like Fi, like it was more like godlike, where like he was like focusing on like, being like a god of destruction in a way, which does carry on for like most of the the antagonists, like them being like darker themes, but still having like a decently upbeat kind of sound.
Okay. Emblem, your rebuttal?
Personally, for me, I have a pretty hard time deciding since, like I said, although Burst is new, it has some really good music.
Mm.
Like the intro, honestly, in my opinion, one of the best intros that we've gotten in Beyblade so far.
Yeah.
Uh, Battle music also pretty good, but I do have to give it to Burst, having a lot more music, a lot more impact.
Yeah.
But in the end, it was still a really close fight for me.
Okay. So you're saying that just X is better overall for music?
No, Burst is better for
Oh.
music.
Oh.
Although X does have good music, I think Burst.
Okay, okay. So, overall, these three questions, you would say, you'd both probably agree that, Burst won this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you all very much for being on. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
I'm gonna disconnect y'all.
Okay.
Alright. So, that is pretty much where I'm going to end it off tonight. I appreciate everybody that came on in, did the questions, and answered. I appreciate it very, very much. So, with that, I will see you guys in the next video. I haven't failed no Burst November yet. I'll see y'all.